Hi guys, welcome to Leicester Fan TV, the Wednesday night fan zone show. Is everyone over the East Midlands derby crap performance, the embarrassment performance, the disgraceful performance? Is everyone over it? Oh, I tell you what, we've got a jam-packed show tonight. We're going to talk about Brendan Rodgers' press conference. We're going to talk about Brendan. Is his time over at Leicester City Football Club? What's going to be happening over the next few weeks? We've got some big games coming up: Liverpool, West Ham, Wolves. Are we going to get any points, Leicester fans? Well, we're going to also talk about Liverpool. We're going to talk about everything else to do with Leicester City. We're going to talk about Schmeichel's comments on Yannick Vestergaard. I mean, in my opinion, you'll see what I'm going to say about that one. Guys, as always, smash a like, share, subscribe to Leicester Fan TV. We want your comments. We want your views live. Get involved in the debate, as always. If you're on YouTube, smash a like, share, subscribe to Leicester Fan TV. Push that notification button. If you're on Facebook, smash a like. Come and enjoy the show. Got a lot to talk about. If you want to come on, I will send the link out. We want everyone's different opinions tonight, whether you are deluded, whether you're right, whether you're wrong. We'll have a good debate on it. Right then, guys. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, follow us wherever you can find us at Leicester Fan TV. We are live on TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter. Go and follow us on all socials. Let's get the show going, shall we? And I will see you in just a second.
Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Are you ready for the show? Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everard's, Pucka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hologram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newbie and Co-Estate Agents. We want your views, we want your comments, so join us live. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi guys, welcome to Leicester Fan TV, the post-match Nottingham Forest chat. What a load of crap. If you've seen my rant on Monday night Anfield show, be sure to go and check it out if you haven't already. I was furious, angry, and haven't really digested it well. Would you? Losing to Nottingham Forest in a massive game for the club? No, you wouldn't, would you? Let's get a few good evenings in there. Daniel Harrison, not a chance. Evening Jack, evening Gareth, evening Matty Bond, evening Maz. Hope you're well. Hey up Jack, nice kit there. Yes. I fear Thursday night at Liverpool likely to be a cricket score again. Yes and no. Well, hello Gary, how are you? No, my husband is a Forest fan and he's pissing me off. Well, hello Chris. You calm down now, Jack. Well, we're going to get into it. Are we over the Forest result? Aggie, we're going to get your opinion on Brendan Rodgers as well. Depends how deep the rot has set in. If Brendan Rodgers has lost the dressing room, well, we'll see. Can we get something from Liverpool? Yes, a stereo, a radio, and a three-piece suite. Evening, we're going to do it 2-1. Rodgers out. Well, I was expecting this tonight. The players, manager are rightfully getting the stick for our dismal season. I think the coaches need major criticism as well. There's been zero improvement in the side defensively. What is your thoughts? Do you know what? It's been a crap season, hasn't it? How many times we actually turned up? We beat Liverpool 1-0. We beat Man United by 4 goals to 2. We beat Brentford 2-1. They're the most positive results. I mean, A must-win tomorrow, but will Leicester City go and beat Liverpool? I mean, not a great record at Anfield. We threw away a 3-1 defeat to their kids, remember, in the Cup. The last game is the past. Move on. Only look forward. Well, evening, Jack. How are you doing, mate? Totally fuming when we played Nottingham Forest, aren't we all? Lose to Liverpool and West Ham. Rodgers will get the sack. Well, I've been having a debate with some Leicester fans about that one. Fearless Fox, and to be honest, I can actually say the same. If we're not going to pick up points in the next few games, then it could be Brendan Rodgers' time. I'm actually Rodgers in. Want to see what he does in the summer after the post-match comments. We'll win 1-0. Will we? Will we really? I'll sooner trust in top than a few idiots on social media crying for a manager to go as soon as things don't get the way they want. It's about time the negative blasters got behind the team. That includes the manager. Ooh, big point there, Jason. But I mean, if people are happy to go and lose to Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup and not turn up and get embarrassed at the City ground, then everyone's going to have a different opinion, aren't they? A team that should have been good enough on paper to go and beat Nottingham Forest. I'm not saying Nottingham Forest are crap, but we should have been good enough to go to the City ground, put in a performance for them travelling fans, and maybe get into the next round. But what did Leicester City do? We got trampled all over, and we let 4 goals in. It's not great, is it? Losing 4-1, absolutely humiliation. I have completely lost faith in the group of players after the humiliation and shame they have brought to the club. Evening, not over the Forest game. Can we get anything tomorrow night? Not with a miraculous change in formation. I don't think it's just the formation that's cost us this season. It's players that have been bottle jobs who have not turned up and are not good enough for the job. I made that clear on Monday night. Rodgers out. Come on. Who do you want in? Keep him. Do you know what? I'm not saying I'm Rodgers out. But you're going to get this debate, aren't you? But that's football. We all don't agree on the same thing. People don't know it will cost us £24 million. It's 4th paid manager in the Premier League, would you believe? Hi, Jack. Evening. They are, mate. But the Rodgers out lot have been there before the Forest game. They have, but wouldn't. You could understand fans' frustration, Jason, because the season hasn't gone the way we expected it to. I mean, yes, we've had injuries, but I mean, most parts of this season, we've had a squad that should have been good enough to go and compete. People are going to say, oh, yeah, but Jamie Vardy and Johnny Evans has been injured, but we should have been able to adapt. This is the main key, adapt. If you can't adapt, then what chance have you even got of playing? You should be turning up for these games. We haven't been turning up quite a lot of this season. It's been quite embarrassing to watch. The boys should have the balls and the audacity to go and put on the shirt and go and perform and give their all. But against Forest and that, what do you expect? We got embarrassed. People would say outclassed. I think we might win the toss tomorrow. You going tomorrow, Jack? Maggie? But it'd be the Leicester way, wouldn't it? If Leicester went and won tomorrow at Anfield. But it'd met the Forest result. Absolutely reminiscing. Team looked good on paper. Absolutely spineless play. Nobody turned up. Can see us losing 4-5 tomorrow. No one's happy about it, but Rodgers can't take all the blame. He gave the tactics and the players didn't listen. Brendan Rodgers gave his team talk. It's down to the players to go and perform on the football pitch. If they don't, then that's down to them. The players should be able to handle that stick and that criticism, because we can't all put the blame on the manager. The manager puts the tactics out, and that if it's the players ain't performing the way he wants them to, then what do you do? Maybe he's lost the dressing room. Who knows? I think Leicester fans should have a higher ceiling, and that's why there's been no Champions League football after sitting in second. But most of the last 2 seasons, I agree. We've missed out on it all. Exactly, mate. Made the point before you put any manager in charge of the squad we have. With all that's gone on with injuries, they would struggle. I I wouldn't want to sack any manager. It's Top's decision, exactly. Top's the owner. We're just fans. We pay to see good football, and if you're not going to see, if you're not seeing good football, you're going to get really annoyed, aren't you? How can you not have the hunger to play? Where was the hunger, the desire, the passion? Where was the putting on that shirt and going to perform? I mean, there was over 3,000 fans at the City Ground on Sunday, and what did we get? We got embarrassed. Play the youth, young lads tomorrow. Maybe they'd give a bit more bite. Absolute disaster of a season so far. Cost us 24 million if we go down. We're mid-table team. Stop building your hopes. I'm not building my hopes. Leicester City. I don't feel we're a big club. But big clubs are built on history, aren't we? We've won the Premier League and that. Yes, of course, we've got our own history. But Sky make it up as this top six malarkey. It's absolute stupidity. You can't to blame the players. We had to blame the players and the manager. Bruce blame, is it? Forest had main players out, but they still come out and put in performance. They did. They're a championship side and they come out and beat us. Rumour has it that the team are so upset about this disbanding of Leicester Fan TV chat group. They are struggling with their motivation to perform. I do understand, honestly, but even though things are going south right now, we are still in the midst of one of our most successful periods since 2016. I agree. I don't really have much to say apart from we're going to need some supernatural interventions. Yes, hello, Mayun. How are you? KDH will start tomorrow. There's been a bad undercurrent in the dressing room now for some years. Well, player power. Brendan Rodgers, is he calling the players out because he knows about player power in the past with Claudio and that? Question to you, Leicester fans. Get it in there and let me know. Brendan reckons 9 of the 11 are still here. We need to evolve. How many does he want gone? Well, who's going to be leaving in the summer? Yori's looking elsewhere. Cags is looking elsewhere. It's a sour situation. But then Brendan did this at Liverpool where he called out all these players and then ended up losing his job in the third season syndrome. So it's going to be an interesting view in the next few games and that to see exactly what's going to happen. Rodgers' substitution have been important on a few games, but nothing prepared in the end of the season. Stay in the league and rebuild in the summer. Yeah, get rid of players who don't want to be at this football club. If you're not willing to put on the shirt now, then don't even bother playing for don't even bother putting the shirt on each week. Drop Tillemans tomorrow. Siuncha will last. John Cags has had a terrible season. Hopefully Hamza and Albrighton will start. His comments were justified and hopefully behind closed doors he's gone. Gave every single one of them a hairdryer. I think, Gags, take him, vest with him. We need Vardy back. Do you know what? We can't rely on 34-year-olds, 35-year-olds. This squad is up and coming and they should be good enough to play at the highest level. And if they're not doing that, then what chance have you got? Remember that while these results keep happening, the transfer value, which is going in the future kitties, reducing. Yet, these so-called big prices on Tillemans and that will go down the way they're performing. Who's going to want to pay 60, 70 million pound? Cags ain't even worth 50 million pound, let alone 50p. It's ridiculous. We scored 3 goals against Man City and couldn't even put in a decent performance. Dakar will get goals if given the service. Can't keep relying on Vardy. Yes, I've said that. Vardy is coming to an end at Leicester City in the next few years. Dakar has been brought in to replace him. But he just needs to live up to expectations and get the service like Jason says. Cags reckons he's going sunny Barcelona. Next joke. Rodgers is incapable of the hairdryer treatment. Do you know what? We need a manager who's actually going to rip into these players. I watched a Gattuso, press conference yesterday. He's obviously been linked with Leicester City, apparently in Italy. He's one of them who doesn't stand no shit, shall I put it. Well, Yuri has his head, he's turned, he'll be gone. Cags is underperforming and is replaceable. The centre back position to fill a quality midfielder, a wide player of a better standard. Yeah, I'm confused why Cags is being linked with big clubs. He's defending. I'm surprised he's being linked with Man City. There has to be other managers than Gattuso or Pirlo. Gattuso is one of them. He's a hothead, but he doesn't allow players to mess him around. Nigel Pearson never did. Pearson, you either play for him or you didn't. And if you didn't, you'd know to it. Anyone can do it at Celtic when it was a one-horse race. Yep. Hello, Jack. Hello, Jacko. Leicester 2007. Guys, let's talk about this big rebuild then in the summer. Let's talk about it. If you want to come on the show, feel free. I will send you the link out now. So if you want to come on and give your views, feel free. Let's talk about this big rebuild then in the summer. Who's going to leave? And what are we going to have left? Where do we need to fill in these positions then, Leicester fans, in the summer? Looking into the summer, where do we need to fill? What sort of players do we need to look at? Let me know in the comments. Cags is a speedboat without a driver. I heard that comment the other day. To rebuild, plenty of cash required. Yeah. Big rebuild gives it away that Tillemans will definitely go. Let's get Madhad in then. Madhad, how are you?
I'm well, Jack. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Madhad, then, talk to me about this big rebuild then in the summer that Brendan Rodgers obviously wants to happen, considering his players who he's got right now isn't good enough to live up to expectations, Madhad. Talk to me about the big rebuild then. Where do we need to strengthen and who's going to be leaving in the summer?
I think, firstly, I think his idea that it's not a good enough squad is absolute nonsense, because I think if you look at the starting 11 and everyone's fit, then I think we're probably like sixth if we look at just our starting 11. So for us to say that we're not good enough to get to that position again with this squad, I think is nonsense. Yeah. And I think also he needs to consider the financial side of it, because I heard something like revenue-wise, we produce less revenue than even Newcastle and Everton. And we've got like a wages to income ratio of like over 100%. So we're actually spending more on wages than comes into the whole club. So this idea that we can splash money around, it's not going to happen. We're going to have to get rid of quite a few players. And then the players we do get in have to come in for less wages than the current lot. So actually, it's not as simple as that. And I think the problem is as well, if we don't get Europa League, it's a massive problem, because it's a huge, huge hole in our finances. Because from what I understand, they get a lot of money from being in Europe with all the, the sponsorship that UEFA get and all that stuff. They hand a lot of it over to the clubs. So if we're not in there, it's going to cause a problem of we don't have the finances already to start off with. And we don't have the way that the ownership want to spend money is not splash it around. It's more self-sustaining. So the club's going to be in a really bad financial position, especially with the whole stadium expansion.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm not really a fan of the stadium expansion. I think for a size of the city we are, I don't think it's going to pack out every single week. And on top of that, really, I would rather the club focus on the playing squad right now, and then secure themselves as like a bit like the way that Spurs did it. They first got into Champions League again and again and again. And then finally, when they were in Champions League after a while, they were like, okay, let's go build a stadium. And, it worked out mostly.
Madhad, would you consider Leicester City a big club after everything they've won?
Ooh. I think You mean on the pitch or off the pitch?
No, would you consider us a big club? I mean, some Leicester fans consider us as a big club, considering we've won the Premier League and the FA Cup, and the Community Shield. Would you consider us a big club compared to the elite clubs like your Man United, your Liverpools, and that?
Not in that sense, but I think we should at least get sixth.
Yeah.
If we're talking about strictly on the pitch, we are probably better than Spurs. I mean, they've got a dross squad, I think. Arsenal, they're just a bunch of young guys with a PE coach. So realistically, it doesn't matter whether we're a big club. I think sometimes people get too hopped up on whether we're big or not, but we can definitely compete.
Yeah. So these players then, what's going to be leaving in the summer, Madad? The Tillemans, the Sionchus, I mean, they don't want to be here, do they, in this Leicester City squad at this minute in time?
Yeah. I mean, Tielemans we already knew because he wasn't going to sign a new contract. And I don't think the club's going to pull a Pogba, where they're just going to let the guy go for free. And at the same time, I think, we want players that want to be here at the end of the day. Even though, to be honest, even if we don't make a profit on him, I think the club's used a lot. I heard something like before he got injured, he played the most consecutive games in the Premier League. I think something like 60 Premier League games in a row, which is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for someone like Soyuncu, Soyuncu's never going to get a better contract than Leicester. I mean, if he thinks he can get somewhere better, at best he is a relegation candidate in terms of he would go for Norwich or something. And at worst, he would be a championship player. I mean, he is no composure. I don't think there'd be a top club that would touch him with a barge pole.
Well, not many of us would, just not in that way. Madad, talking about the players who are leaving then, who's not good enough in the squad, who's showed it this season, they're not capable of living up to the expectations? I mean, we talk about Jose Perez, Ryan Bertrand, Yannick Vestergaard. Will they be them sort of players what will leave Leicester City in the summer, do you reckon?
I think a lot of them are dross anyway. They're at best, they're squad players. At worst, they're sort of
the best way to put them.
Every now and again, a cup game at most. People like Papis Mendy, Chowdhury, even if I think Chowdhury's got a good run just because he's a youth academy player. He's a bit like our version of Scott McTominay at Man United.
Yes.
He's just there because he's youth academy passion and all this nonsense. But I think of the ones that will actually bring something in, I think only Tielemans will bring something in. Maybe someone might take a £30 million a chance at Soyuncu, but I don't think anyone else leaves on good money.
No, I mean, Kaggs was linked with Manchester City in the summer for £50 million. I mean, in my eyes, he's not even worth 50p. I wouldn't even pay it, even if he were on sale at a corner shop.
I think if you're 25 years old and you need a more experienced head to be next to you, that says something really worrying about you.
Do you feel, Madhad? I mean, let's talk about Johnny Evans. When his time at Leicester with Harry Maguire at centre-back, Kagalos Soyuncu at centre-back, do you feel that is Johnny Evans' influence on them types of the two players in Johnny Evans and Soyuncu and Harry Maguire? I mean, if you look at Harry Maguire, £80 million, we've watched absolute dross at Manchester United and we've absolutely had their pants down. Does Johnny Evans make them look world-class players, Madad, watching them two without Johnny Evans?
I think it says more about those two than it does about Johnny Evans because they're grown men, and they've got to that level of football. They have to be okay, and for them to actually need an older head at the age of 24 and people, because you look at someone like Fofana, he was 19 and yet he was probably our best centre-back last season.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, he never played professional football before that. I think he had one season, something like that. I think he had one season at Saint Etienne, and then he moved to Leicester. And yet he was much more classy than a lot of our centre-backs. So I think you ooze class even without someone who is a lot older than you. But Chaglar doesn't have the mental capability to play. I think he's got some technical ability, but he just doesn't have the sort of he lacks complete composure. That's his fundamental issue. And Johnny Evans, he lives in the injury room. I mean, he gets injured walking. I mean, he has serious problems. So we can't rely on him either, to be honest.
No.
I don't know. I think the club should really get rid of him too if he can't play week in, week out, because we don't have the ability to carry players. We're not a Manchester United, because I think what makes a big club is the financial side of it. You look at Man United, how many players they've got out who were not playing. Like you look at Lingard wasn't playing. They've got Juan Mata, Matic, even some of the players they've just loaned out, like Anthony Martial on 200 bags a week, and he wasn't playing. And we're not able to do that. So I think certain players, if you get too injured, it's not against you, but it's a football club, not a charity.
Yes. Madad, talking about these sort of players, then you Jamie Vardy's and Johnny Evans, do we rely on these sorts of players? Should these players, what's in the squad, considering Evans and Vardy's injured, be able to adapt at this level and be accounted for with the performances they should be putting in rather than performances they're not?
I think what we figured out, in particular with Johnny Evans or with the guy who stands next to Soyuncu, I think he's a limited player.
Yes.
I think that's one thing we've realised. He's very limited. But I think with Vardy, I think Daka's a proper player and he looks really good. But the problem is Brendan Rodgers' tactics are messing it up. If he played, I personally believe our best formation was 4-1-2-1-2, where we get Kelechi on the pitch, we play a bit more central. I don't think Barnes is having the effect. I don't think Lookman, I think with Lookman, the only thing he's good at is pressing. I don't think he's not a very good passer or a shooter or anything like that. So if he played more centrally, but he doesn't. So he always plays with these wingers. And it makes, I don't know if you've seen this, but when we attack, we look so isolated in attack. The ball gets to a certain point and it's like it doesn't pass.
Yes, true. Do you think certain players, Madad, believe in their own hype? Believe they're better than what they are and what they're capable of?
See, James Maddison was one that a lot of people were talking about. But I think he's really come back strong and he looks, to be honest, I heard he was like something like the second best chance creator ever since he joined, other than Kevin De Bruyne. And he had 6 months or 7 or like maybe 9 months where he wasn't so good. And everyone started to say stuff and people focused on that sort of stuff and all his tattoos and he's a bit flamboyant and all that. But I think, I don't know who would believe their own hype. I think maybe because you look at that team, other than Soyuncu, who else would believe their own hype? Because I think Tielemans, for a lot of the season, he's been okay. I think he's been all right. And I think Maddison's been all right. I think Ndidi maybe, I'm not sure what's going on with Ndidi. But yeah. I think some players have, but other players are genuinely good players.
Yes. Madad, let's talk about Brendan Rodgers' quotes then. We have overachieved to now we want to climb the mountain and compete with the bigger clubs.
Oh my God.
How hypocritical does that sound, Madad, from we have overachieved and we have peaked to then we want to climb the mountain and then want to be competing with these big level football clubs? How hypocritical does it sound of Brendan Rodgers coming out with these bizarre statements? He's backtracking, isn't he, Madad, at this stage of the season?
He's cracking. That's what it is. I mean, I spoke about it the other night where, he's been managed he was a coach for Mourinho at Chelsea.
Yes.
And he's had the training. And it's been spoken about a lot that he's been a sort of, he was like a protege. He would sit in the conference rooms and you would watch Mourinho talk and he's very, very smooth with it. And he has a way of saying a lot without saying anything. So when he comes out and he's very, very blunt with it, he's starting to lose the plot. He's starting to realize, when you play, if you play like FIFA or something like that.
Yes.
The difference is with him, he knows he can't physically control the players to do what they want him to do. So he can't actually get them to go left or go right. So he's realized now they're not listening to him. He's not getting it across well, and he can do nothing about it. So he seems to be very sort of. This seems to be like. Have you seen when Mourinho at the end of his reign at Manchester United? It just got more and more mental. I remember he did the whole 3 for them or 2 for me or something like that. He started speaking about his trophies and all this irrelevant stuff when they ask him about some basic stuff.
Yeah.
So I think he's very much he is losing it. He's losing it.
Let's talk about Brendan Rodgers' press conference then. No real leader in the dressing room. There should be leaders out there, shouldn't they, Madhad? I mean, Schmeichel claims to be this club captain. Surely he should be having a word with these players and saying, well, it's not good enough. I mean, do we need somebody now who's strong enough, headed like a Wes Morgan, a Robert Huth, a Vasilevsky, who will absolutely rip into this team and want what's best for the club and not letting them get away with what they're performing at this minute? We need someone to step in, don't we, and say, we've had enough now, lads. Time to actually get to business and not keep messing around like children.
I think, but at the same time, I think this idea, I don't know if it's my age, but the whole thing around leaders and captains, I think it's less important now than it used to be, because I think a lot of these players, we live in a different generation where kids don't get shouted at as much. Kids don't get, slapped if they do something wrong. So these guys are from a different generation. They're from the 90s. And so the way they were raised was a lot more mollycoddling and a lot softer. So when they get shouted at by a manager, it doesn't work. I remember this. I used Mourinho again as an example. He used to call players out in the past, and he wouldn't just say the whole team has got problems. He would say so and so's got a problem, and so and so's got a problem, and I don't like how he plays. And I remember he came out and said, when Luke Shaw played well, he said, no, it's because I did the thinking for him. So that style of thinking, like that style of trying to get things across to players, it doesn't work, because they will fold, and at the same time, they will not take it, because players they're a lot more self-important now, I think, than they used to be. And the values have changed, of course, as well. But I think also you have to take into account Claudio Ranieri got sacked 6 months after winning the title when there was 5,000 to 1 chances. So this idea about respect and all that stuff, ever since then, I've never been surprised when a manager gets sacked at any club. Yeah.
Madad, for you then, has Brendan Rodgers taken us as far as he can as a football club?
Definitely. I don't think he's a bad manager. I think there's a lot of people that say that.
Guys, get it in the comments if you think the same.
Yeah, his stuff at Liverpool, people love to talk about Liverpool. I think the thing that people have against Brendan a lot is that I remember when he broke through at Swansea and he broke into the league, and he brought this possession style football to what was effectively a relegation side. And it was very, very, it was, I don't think there were many sides actually playing a possession side, let alone a relegation side. And then he got them, I think he got them like 7th, the Europa League or something like that in his first season. And then Liverpool took him on. And the reason why people ridicule him is because he bottled the title. But people forget the achievement that it was to even get them to that point. Their team wasn't great. But what I'm against is that even with Poch at Tottenham, I just feel like things have got a bit stale. But it's like a relationship where you're both good people, but it's just the right time to finish it.
Yes. Guys, if you're watching, please like on YouTube, like on Facebook. Please subscribe if you're new watching tonight, as always. We're getting mad hads and views on Leicester City Football Club. We're going to get deep. And we're going to get a good chat on this one. It's a great debate so far. Where do the problems lie then, Mad Had? Are the problems deeper behind the scenes, do you think, than what the media's letting on and what Brendan's letting on? Do you feel do you feel this new training ground's helping as well? This new £100 million training ground?
It's the biggest waste of money. I just think it's not that it's not a good investment. I think it is a good investment. But I think more than anything, what drags a player to want to come and play for Leicester is the fact we're in Europe. What's the point of having such a £100 million training ground when you're not in Europe? Like, that's the main thing. Even Samari, I think, he left the Champions League team And he only left the Champions League team because he said, listen, it's England. So if I come to this, it's like going from your local, from like a local theatre or something like that to like the huge ones in London. You know what I mean? So he was thinking like, it might not be Champions League quality team, or I might not be playing in Champions League, but at least I get to play on a bigger stage because more people watch Premier League. So for him, he might be able to get a bigger move after Leicester. But the problem is, this £100 million training ground, we could have spent 100 million on the squad. I mean, imagine what 100 million could do for us, especially when we signed Daka for 20 million. Was it Samari for like 17? We could have signed maybe 4 or 5 players easily for that money. What would 4 or 5 players right now do for us? We could sign 2 centre backs, and then maybe we could just sign a bunch of other great players. But we spent it on a training ground that I read sometimes The Athletic and Rob Tanner and all the rest of them. And he's always saying, oh, yeah, they're doing set piece training and coaching and trying to defend set pieces. And then one day later, we're on the end of a set piece. Like, what is the coaching that we're getting at this club?
Yeah.
And what's the value we're getting out of this training ground if the coaching isn't working and we're wasting all this money? I really don't get it. And the stadium expansion, by the way, I'm not happy about that either, because the whole city is about 330,000 and they want to expand it to 40k.
Yeah.
We're not a big enough place.
Madad, with a football club then, do you feel like since they've moved to this new training ground, they're all too busy thinking about the high life, the Lamborghinis, the mansions and this, that and the other? They're not putting the football first, are they? I mean, look at them at Beaver Drive. They wasn't wrapped up in cotton wool. They had to work hard to get what they wanted. Do you feel it's just been handed to them on a plate and they're more focused on looking good, fashion-wise, social media and that, than what they actually are doing on a football pitch? Do you think they've took their eye off the ball a bit too much?
I think the thing is, because it's a new training ground and because it's such a huge investment, Leicester aren't a very commercial club when it comes to like, it's because we don't have our fan base isn't massive, and outside of Leicester, we're not that massive. Whereas other teams like that we're competing with, West Ham and Newcastle and Everton, they've had a lot of type of success, not huge success, but a bit of success, more success than we've had. And so one of the problems is that they're trying to build a massive following, so they keep taking pictures of the training ground, and then it riles up the fans if we're not winning, right? But the problem is, I actually think they were probably doing the same stuff down at Beaver Drive, but the only difference is they weren't trying to put it all over their Instagram because maybe it wasn't as glitzy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if you've got a new house, you want to show it off a lot, but you were probably doing the same stuff in your old house. You're just not taking pictures. But I think what a few wins does for the fan base is massive, because I think if you're winning, no one really cares about all this, what the players are doing off the field and all this. It becomes a big issue later on.
It does. Madad, all the players playing for Brendan Rodgers, do you feel that he's lost the dressing room, considering what he's coming out with now after each game about the players, that they're not good enough and that? Do you feel that's because they're not wanting to play for him and that, and they're not good enough to perform the way he wants them to?
I think so. They have given up. It does look like they have given up. But at the same time, I think he's not a very good defensive coach, as it is. I think the problem started, I think I heard somewhere, because I've forgotten I'm not really one to remember games in detail, but I remember the end of the first COVID season, the 1920 season, where we were playing in June. I heard we lost something like 7 out the last 8 games.
Yeah.
7 out the last 8 games. I mean, you're talking about some of the teams were relegation fodder.
Lost to Newcastle 4-1.
We lost, do you remember the Bournemouth game, 4-1?
Yes, the one when we were 1-0 up with Jamie Vardy at half time and then Cags all of a sudden got sent off. That game, I remember that.
Was just, he tried to kick him inside the goal. The thing is, I think the rot started back then when it comes to the coaching side of things, because last season was a robbery. If I'm being brutally honest, I think a lot of times I was a bit surprised that we won games, that we did get as far as we did. I think even the way that, tactically, some of the things that happen in game, it's like a patterns. We always start slow. Mm-hmm. We can't seem to connect 10 passes in the first 20 minutes. It seems like we're out the game for the first 20 minutes. And if the team if the opposition are very up for it, in the first 20 minutes, we can lose the game. Like, do you remember the Arsenal game just a few months ago? First 20 minutes, they scored 2 goals. We have a resurgence, but what's the point? We've got to score 3 now to win the game.
Or even more.
And then on top of that, now, what's even worse now, it's not just a slow start. We're conceding 16 shots a game.
Yeah.
We should be conceding more than 60 than the number of goals we've conceded. So in a way, we are riding our luck still.
It's crazy. Madad, who's to blame for Leicester City's downward spiral then? Is it Brendan Rodgers, or is it the players not being good enough and given enough on the football pitch for what Brendan Rodgers wants? Who's to blame here?
I think in part also the board. I think for the lack of foresight when it comes to centre backs as well.
Yeah.
We were threadbare, and we've been obsessed for a long time with getting a winger, a right winger. I think we can play centrally, and I think we just have to let this whole winger thing die and just focus on trying to be robust, in the way that we play, and to make sure that actually in the positions that we always play, which is the back four and the central midfielders, that we actually do have the people there. But I think the coaching is 100% the coaching, because the manager is the one that's fundamentally the one who's supposed to motivate them. Yeah. And I think also the problem is the way that we've always played. I mean, I think he's played something like 14 formations. But when he finds a good formation, he doesn't know when to stop the tinkering.
Yeah.
So he just tinkers for tinkering's sake. And I don't think that helps either. And this training, you spend 9 hours a day in the office and you still can't get the coaching right. The same problems, gaming. We are watching games on repeat.
Yeah.
It's
the same,
like watching,
same crap every week.
Yeah, and it's, as football fans, we're one of the only few people whose hobby we will still go and do and go and watch, even if it's the same rubbish. Like, you wouldn't go to the cinema every week and watch the same rubbish film. It's a mess.
You'd expect more for your money, wouldn't you? I mean, these fans, paid fans who actually work and go and pay good money to watch their football club, they're not getting what they pay for. You travel miles week in, week out to watch Leicester City Football Club, and if you're getting this every week, what do you say? I mean, fans should be enough to be unhappy in that and show their passion and that for their football club if things are going right and wrong. I mean, you're the ones who's paying for it, so why can't you express your emotions and that each week if you're not happy or you are happy? Do you get what I mean? It's the way football is. Madhad, let's talk about Leicester's form then. 4 wins in 17 in all competition. How bad is that? I mean, like you said to me earlier on, 2 clean sheets this season for Leicester City Football Club. Talk to me about it. What's gone wrong?
Oh, that's a disgusting statistic. 4 in 17.
Yes.
I read somewhere else we've had 2 clean sheets in the league. 2 clean sheets. Yeah. We haven't had more than one time that we've had a back-to-back. I think we've only beaten. Do you remember when we beat Man United and then we went and stole a win against Brentford?
Yeah, that
was the only time we've won back-to-back. This is the league table. It truly doesn't lie, and we are a mid-table club at the moment. The way we're playing, we go and win a game, and then we go and lose 3. Yeah, or we go and win a game, and then we go and draw a game, and then we go and lose a game. It's not a proper. The form is rubbish, and there's no sign of improvement. I would have forgiven if it was the first few weeks, but there's no sign. There's no. Even in the game against Liverpool, we played with heart, but we did ride our luck a lot. There were lots of times Sadio Mane was through on goal. I'm sure there was another chance as well, but I think the wins make you forget. And the fact, we've only played 3 Premier League games since the middle of December with all the COVID stuff.
Yes, and we've lost to Spurs.
That's what made us forget. Yeah,
and that's
and then we go and lose to
Spurs.
Drawn to Brighton. And I think that also makes them forget. Because if we'd played all those, I think we've got 4 games in hand, people would actually be really annoyed.
It's crazy to think. I mean, that sort of form is relegation form. I mean, where we are in the table at this minute in time, we're 10th in the table. I mean, it's criminal to even think we're 10th despite how we've been. I mean, the teams have been poorer behind us.
That's true.
But I just don't think you can blame it down on the defence. I mean, we've not been good enough scoring goals this season either. I mean, we've got lack of goals. If you watch Lookman the other day against Nottingham Forest, he should be put in that way, not going to look for a penalty and wait for the defender to clip him over.
You remember the one against Brighton? It was worse.
Yes.
He was 1-on-1. And he looked shot shy. He does not have... For me, when I look at that position, I'm always measuring it against Riyad Mahrez and the beauty of his touch and how effortless dribbling was for him. For me, the only upside to Lookman is he's a pressing machine. There's nothing else to him. He's got no ability to dribble. His passing is weak. His shooting is weak. His overall confidence on the pitch is weak. But I think when it comes to attacking, when Kelechi's on the pitch, I think it does help. And when we're playing a 2 up top, because sometimes I feel he likes to play Kelechi in a position that hampers Kelechi, so he can stop playing Kelechi. Do you see what I mean? It's like he has he's not a fan of Kelechi, so he finds reasons to not play him.
Yeah, that's true. That Iheanacho's not a one-man striker, is he? He's a two-man striker. He likes to play as a two. Brendan, look at Iheanacho last season. He was flying in the Premier League and that. I mean, this season he hasn't really got a sniff, has he?
I think when he's been on the pitch, though, he's been decent, to be honest. He's provided, he always does something. It's either a goal or an assist. I've seen his statistics and they look really good for the number of minutes he actually gets on the pitch. Actually, him and Daka look quite good, but it seems like he works against himself. This is makes no sense. He's too idealistic, I think.
Let's talk about Schmeichel's comments then. Vestergaard, a top-class player, and they're still very mobile. Come on, talk to me about Yannick Vestergaard. I think he's an absolute dreadful, and the lamppost is more mobile than him.
It's brown envelopes. Come
on, let's talk about that comment. I mean, Vestergaard, a top-class defender. I mean, he can't even run for a start. A lamppost is more mobile than him. You get a better mobile service from O2 than what you get at Yannick Vestergaard. My dad, come on, talk to me about him. How poor is Yannick Vestergaard?
The only way Schmeichel thinks that is he's been paid. Some brown envelopes have been passed around. It's either that or Schmeichel's starting to lose the plot. Or the third option is he's just trying to back his boy. He's thinking, oh, he's a fellow Danish guy. I'm trying to support him. But just try to put aside everything else and his mobility. His physicality. I've seen this guy head a ball and it hits his shoulder. Yeah. I heard we bought him because of set pieces. We don't score. And I remember Soyuncu scored the first set piece goal for our team the whole of last season, and it came against United in like May.
Yeah.
And he doesn't use his physicality. I've seen him against forwards. He doesn't do what an old-fashioned a physical forward, a physical centre back does. And then his passing's all right. I'll be honest. I'll give him that. But he reminds me of Maguire at Man United right now, because if you look at Maguire, he's slow. Yeah, he is always the free man. I've watched a lot of United. He's always the free man. He's
watched him last night against Burnley.
Oh, he was. Did you see him?
He's a fridge, isn't it? It's unreal.
Did you see him for the J.A. Rodriguez goal? He was dancing around him, instead of actually engaging with him. So it's not just the speed for me with Vestergaard; it's the lack of engagement. It's as if he's just a passenger. For me, he's not actually a footballer. He's just there. He's just a physical corpse. Like it's like they've programmed him at the back. Like they've just flicked the switch and said, "Right, you're on. Flick him on," and he just goes, "What? I'm on now."
Crazy. Let's talk about tomorrow night's game then, my dad. Leicester City take on Liverpool. Is there any chance of 3 points at Anfield tomorrow night, my dad? Looking at the Forest result at the weekend and how we've been performing this season all over the park, do you think the players will go out and perform at Anfield tomorrow night?
You watch. Somehow they'll turn up, and then it will get them up again, and people will forget Forest, and they'll be like, "Oh, we've done well against." But the thing is, I don't care what you do against the big clubs. If you look at it mathematically, right, we play against what? Outside the top 6, that's 6 teams multiplied by 2, that's 12. So we've got maybe 26 games, right, where we're playing against teams that are non-top 6.
Yeah.
Multiply that by 3, that's like 78 points we could get. If we win every single non-top 6 game, we could easily get Champions League football.
It's crazy.
So the way people look at it is oh yeah, we've got to win. You've just got to make sure you beat the teams you're supposed to beat.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, yeah, those are the games that most of the title champions struggle against.
Jeremy, Clubwell. I can't be justifying things like that on Leicester Fan TV. I mean,
exactly, yeah, that comment that someone said Rodgers won't be judged at Anfield. Exactly.
Yeah.
Even the board will give him a free day. They'll say it doesn't matter if you win or you don't win.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's not the games we're supposed to be winning. We can't be. Who did we lose against last? We drew against Brighton.
And then we lost to Tottenham in 60 seconds.
Oh. Even the games we win, you look at the number what happened at the first 5 Premier League games, we couldn't score goals, but we were shipping them in. And now we're still shipping them in. But if the formation's right, we can actually start scoring goals. But you look at how many we ship in. Man United, 4-2. Spurs, 3-2. Watford, 4-2.
Yeah.
We're shipping them in against farmers.
It's crazy. Madad, let's talk about the lineup then for Liverpool. What's going to be the lineup then? What formation are we using first off?
Is it the one we think he's going to play or the one we want?
Well, whichever one you want, you pick. You be the manager. You put yourself in Brendan Rodgers' shoes. What formation would you go for?
Well, firstly, I know we're going to concede. So we've got to actually set up so we can actually score something.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kelechi needs to be the first name on that. I think Kelechi and Daka up front, Maddison at number 10. And then the 2 central midfielders would be Ndidi, not Ndidi, Tielemans. Or I don't know, maybe take Tielemans out because Tielemans looks like he's out of it at the moment. Maybe just play Samari and Keenan Dewsbury Hall because he looks a really good player. Yeah. And then play Ndidi at DM. And then back 4. I would love to see Ricardo at right back, but with the state of his body, I have no idea. But I would say Ricardo at right back. Luke Thomas, for me, he's another one who lives off the youth academy hype. I don't know if he's attacking enough. He's an old-fashioned fullback, but he's not attacking enough. But I think James Justin, with one game, looks better than Luke Thomas going forward. I saw James Justin dribbling against Brighton, but he just came back from a huge injury. And then I think 2 central defenders I would play probably. It's Dross. Actually, no, forget that. 2 central defenders, maybe Ndidi and Amate, because I think Soyuncu is just a bull in a china shop.
Okay, so I'm gonna go for Schmeichel in goal, Ricardo, James Justin, Hamza Chowdhury, Daniel Amate, and then I'm gonna go for an Ndidi, Maddison. Will Tielemans get dropped? We never know. I'd go for a 2 up front tomorrow night. Daka and Iheanacho, and then maybe play Lookman as well in there. Let's look at our next 3 games quickly then. Liverpool, West Ham and Wolves. Are we going to get any points in the next 3 games, do you think, Madad? Guys, what do you think? How many points in the next 3 games?
Personally, if the next 3 games kills off Rodgers, it'll be worth it.
Yeah.
I never want to see the team lose, but I think I remember. Do you remember when there was the whole fiasco around Solskjaer at Man United, and he kept coming back from the dead?
Yeah.
He would have a run of 3 bad games, and then he'd win 3, and then he'd stay in the job. I don't want that to be the case with Rodgers. I'd rather be that the end of Rodgers is swift, that it just ends instead of dragging on. Because I'll be honest, I don't want him to take us into the summer because we can't defend. We had our best back 4. We still couldn't defend. Even without Fofana, we should have been able to defend. He couldn't defend. We had Ricardo, Thomas, Soyuncu, and Evans. We still couldn't defend. So I want him out. I think we might get a point. Maybe.
4 points. Don't think. Do you know what? Yeah, I think we'd be looking to get a point out in next 3 games. But it'd be the Leicester. It'd be typical Leicester if they went and got points against these teams. I mean, everyone ruled us out against Liverpool last time in the Premier League. We didn't have a team really, and we went and beat them 1-0. Mad had score prediction then for tomorrow night against Liverpool. Be nice.
5-0.
That's just being nice, isn't it?
I'm taking into account it's Anfield as well, so they've got the crowd behind them.
Guys, score predictions then for tomorrow night. I'm gonna go 1-0 Leicester. I can't. That's just me. That's just me being nice. If my heart says 1-0 Leicester, my head says about 6-0 Liverpool.
Actually, no. I'll say 3-1. I don't think they're as clinical as they can be, and I think we'll probably score one.
Yeah, it's
I'll say
mad.
3-1.
Right, Madhad, thank you for joining me tonight. It's been a real pleasure.
And you.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. That was Madhad. Guys, thank you so much for watching tonight's show. I know it's been a bit overrun, but we got some good points in there. Really hope you all enjoyed the show. If Rodgers stays and spends in the summer, it's a total waste of money. I think it'll be 1-0 to the Foxes, 2-1 Leicester. Guys, thank you so much for watching 5-1 Liverpool. I just can't watch. Well, I'm at Anfield tomorrow night. What more can I actually say? Au revoir to you and to soon to be Brendan. Guys, we'll have a rocket up. Yeah, hope so. Good night to you. Yes, guys, thank you so much for watching tonight. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for every like, every share, every comment. Thank you for getting involved in tonight's debate. It's been a real pleasure. Guys, if you can, please like, share, subscribe to Leicester Fan TV. If you can on YouTube, push on notification button if it will tell you every time we are live. If you're on Facebook, smash a like. And thank you so much for watching. Hit us on the socials, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, wherever you can find us at Leicester Fan TV. Please go and drop us a follow. Thank you to all the sponsors, ADT Hologram, Tiger, Peter Pizzeria, Pucker Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, the Foxes Arms, Newbie & Co. and Hope Against Cancer. Thank you to all the guys for sponsoring us here at Leicester Fan TV. And thank you to you guys for getting involved. We're live tomorrow night for the watch-along as Leicester travel to Anfield. Reedy's back on Friday to talk post-match Liverpool. Sunday, the aftermath show / pre-match show is Leicester take on West Ham. Leicester City women also take on West Ham. And a massive 3 points for the girls on Sunday against Birmingham. One Leicester City won at St Andrews, the other one didn't hit the City ground. So it's a big week and it's double West Ham. So guys, thank you for watching. This is Jack from Leicester Fan TV saying to Raw, good night. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And come on, you Foxes. See you at Anfield. Let's go.
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pucka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hologram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newbie & Co. Estate Agents. Make sure to follow us on all of our social channels at Leicester Fan TV. Visit our website, leicesterfantv.com.